Welcome to Cooking with Andrea. Today we're going to do a prime rib sandwich. I had some leftover prime rib, and we cannot let any prime rib go to waste. So we vacuum sealed 4 pieces. So today we're going to make some sandwiches. I'm going to make one for you on camera, and then after we're done, then I'll go in and make the rest so none of our beautiful prime rib goes to waste. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use picking which bun I like best. Not a time to be picky. I think I'll take that one instead. So I got some sweet French rolls. They are San Francisco, or no, Franco, they're Franco. I go between the two breads and I use them all the time. Those are the ones I really like. So what I'm going to do is cut this open and I'm going to get this started. But I just want to let you know I have 1 packet of au jus. It calls for 2.5 cups of water. I use 2 cups of water so we get the salt content into the meat. We had this beautiful prime rib, and oh my gosh, it was so delicious. We actually got it for a very good price too. I was very, very surprised. I could not believe that we got it for such a cheap, a good price. It was actually a cheap price. They were on sale for $5.99 a pound. I actually got a USDA Select. Usually that's what I pay for a choice, but we were able to get a Select for that price. Wow, which made me super happy. So I'm just going to take some butter, and then I'm going to take a little bit of garlic spread, and then I'm going to take a little bit of Parmesan. That's how I'm going to warm my bread. I'm going to get my little pan started here. Let's go hot pot, and then I'm going to turn it down to 140 until I get it on. Then I'll raise it up because it'll heat fast. But I just want to... It's a real easy sandwich. Leftovers. Nothing goes to waste, especially a beautiful prime rib. We had prime rib for Christmas. We had prime rib and scallops. Absolutely beautiful. Fantastic. We got a local fish company here, even though we live in the desert. And they do a really fantastic job. Family owned. They bring in all the seafood nice and fresh. So it always makes me happy, even though we live in the desert, we can have good seafood. Now we're going to pay, but it was actually, it was expensive, but it was worth it because it's our Christmas dinner. So it's worth it. So I got my Parmesan just like that, because what I want to do is just give it push it together and just give it a little crust, because I'm not going to put any horseradish sauce, no mustard mayo. Those are things you can use if you want to use them. We kind of prefer our sandwiches more plain. We just want cheese, and we want to dip the meat in the au jus, and we want it to be nice and juicy is how we want it. So I'm just going to go ahead and we're going to cut the cut the meat up. I've got the au jus all nice and hot. Didn't want to keep you on camera for a hot au jus. And you guys can use onions or whatever you'd like, but like actually how our family prefers it. And you know me, I always tell you to cook how your family likes it. So if you guys like a whole bunch of fixings on your prime rib sandwiches, do it. If you don't and you're more plain like us, I say you just toast your bread. And I have to drop my heat though, because my pan is fast. And I've already got a nice, look at a nice cheese crust on this. That's beautiful. So what I'm going to do is we're going to get our meat open. And then we're going to go ahead and we are going to take our bread off when it's done. And what I'm going to do is, because when the bread is nice and toasted, you can get a little bit of sog. So what you want to do is you want to go like this, and now we want to take this off. That's absolutely beautiful. We got the flavor, the cheese is melted, everything is great. So I'm going to pull it off. We're going to shut the New Wave induction pan or little oven I have here, or we're going to shut that off. And this is the 2 pieces of prime rib. I got a piece and I got a little bit of fat in there. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this one up. I'll put this one back in and I'll do the other one after I finish the video. But I just want to show you what a good lunch this can make, or a good dinner. We do not normally do something super huge on New Year's Eve. We normally just go out to dinner that day because we've hustled and bustled and cooked and everything for Christmas and Christmas Eve. So what we're going to do is go out to dinner tonight. And then tomorrow I'll make a nice steak dinner, something like that. So what I'm going to do is take my nice piece of prime rib and I'm just going to slice it. It's nice and pink and it's got the fat in it. And what I'm going to do is just drop it in this hot au jus. I'm going to turn my au jus back up higher, but it's nice and hot. And I'm just cutting in nice, pretty thin strips, although the prime rib is very tender. If it was not, I wouldn't show it this way. I'd go ahead and put it on the slicer. Because I have a cure for everything. When your meat is tough, it doesn't come out the way you want it, put it on the slicer. I actually have a slicer. I have probably every tool you can think of. That's kind of me and my hubby's thing. You see right in here is the medium rare. We cooked our prime rib to a medium rare. Mine's a little bit darker right now because I have it in au jus. That's how I decided to vacuum seal. But I'm just going to tell you, this is just absolutely delicious. I'm going to try a piece cold. I can eat this with no problem. Piece of cake. So good. Oh, delicious. And the reason I want to heat that prime rib up and do it this way is because it's going to have salt. And you want this fat in your prime rib too, because if you don't have any fat in the prime rib, it's not that good. And this will all dissolve and get nice and delicious on the in the bread. And then you're going to put your cheese over it when the au jus is nice and hot, so it's going to melt it. Sometimes I cheat and I take, when I give a little wash here, I cheat and I take and drip my cheese in my au jus because it melts it real well. So I'm notorious for doing that. Okay, so I got this right here. The bread smells delicious. You can smell that little hint of garlic, which is going to be fantastic with your au jus. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick it up. Just going to let it heat for a minute more, because the sandwich doesn't have to be super, super hot. I'm just going to try a piece. I want it to be hot enough, though, to melt my cheese. Okay. Tastes really good. And I am going to put my bread here. Oh, looks fantastic. I'm just going to layer this. I'm going to take that one piece of fat out. Oh, this looks fantastic. So what I'm going to do is put this on my bread the way I want it and how I want to layer it, and then I'll show you. I always pick mine up because I'm taking it right from the juice, so I do have to get it up in my hand. Otherwise, I will make a mess everywhere. But this is a good way to use your prime rib. Sandwiches. Sandwiches are good all day long. This week, we're doing a lot of cleaning up, getting the house put back together. And we're doing that. So, it's going to take us some time. You want a few little fat chunks. And the reason I held it so close is I want that juice in my prime rib. Now I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to take out 2 pieces of provolone. You can use any cheese you want, but I noticed that for sandwiches, provolone is fantastic for these kinds of sandwiches. Roast beef, and I don't know, you can see me dipping my, you see me dipping my cheese into my sandwich, into my hot au jus. That's what I do. And then it just goes like that. It's such a good idea. And you want it to be nice and melty. And then guess what? A little bit of the juice comes right onto the sandwich. Okay, this looks beautiful. Nice and hot. And we're going to give it a cut. Something super, super simple. Oops. Let me just move my plate. Oh my gosh. Looking fantastic. Now if you'd like, get a little bit of au jus and dip it in and you will be ready to go. This will be a nice leftover prime rib sandwich. Nothing went to waste, especially something so delicious. I've got 100 other recipes for prime rib too. I have skillet, you know, just a little fried up, some eggs, potatoes, and sandwich. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take a bite. Let me reach right down here. So good. So nice and tender. Fantastic. I think everybody should have a prime rib sandwich if you have any leftover prime rib. If you like the content, if you would please like, subscribe, and share, I'd be most grateful. I hope you and your family have a happy, safe New Year and a blessed week, a blessed New Year. And thanks for coming in and cooking with me.